Little Bohemia Lodge, a remote establishment located between Highway 51 and Little Star Lake in Mantowish Waters, has inspired both books and a major movie with its history. The story begins back in 1929 when Emil Wataka purchased land and built the lodge. At this time, John Dillinger was spending an 8-year sentence at the Indiana State Prison for his first failed robbery. Both Dillinger and Emil shared a connection as attorney Louis Pickett worked for both men. After being released on parole on May 10, 1933, Dillinger returned to robberies and quickly found himself back in jail by September. This wouldn't last long, however, as 8 of his buddies broke out of the Indiana State Prison, and 3 of them helped Dillinger escape on October 12, 1933. This is when Dillinger's short but infamous crime spree really exploded. Over the next several months, Dillinger and his crew would rob police arsenals, stealing guns, ammunition, and bulletproof vests, as well as robbing several banks. It's important to note that this was during the Great Depression, and while robbing the banks, Dillinger would destroy mortgage records. This was a massive benefit to many people with loans, and thus the public viewed Dillinger as a Robin Hood hero. On January 23, 1934, Dillinger was once again caught, and this time put in a county jail that authorities bragged was escape-proof. With the help of Pickett, John Dillinger not only escaped using a wooden gun, but was able to lock up several guards and steal several machine guns on his way out. It was at this time that Dillinger made the mistake that would ultimately cost him everything. He stole the sheriff's car for his getaway and committed his first federal crime by driving it across state lines. The FBI would now be involved. Now known as the FBI's Most Wanted list, it used to be known as Public Enemies, and Dillinger would find himself number 1 on that list. Following his escape, he robbed several banks in Chicago and teamed up with Babyface Nelson in St. Louis. On March 30th, 1934, Dillinger had his first run-in and shootout with FBI agents. He escaped to Mooresville, Indiana, and then the Upper Peninsula of Michigan before arriving at Little Bohemia Lodge on Friday, April 20th, 1934. We know Pickett helped pick hideouts for Dillinger, so it's believed that Pickett used his connections with Emil for Dillinger and his crew to stay for 3 days. While the crew and Emil got together well and treated nicely, something convinced Emil and his wife to alert the FBI. On April 23, 1934, the FBI surrounded Little Bohemia Lodge. That night was pitch black and it was snowing. The FBI agents used 2 cars to block the only entrance and exit to the lodge. Unfortunately, 3 CCC workers left the lodge and were mistaken for Dillinger and members of his crew. The FBI opened fire, fatally hitting 1 man and injuring the other 2. Upon hearing the gunfire, Dillinger and his crew were alerted, and a shootout began. Dillinger and members ran into the pitch-black forest and made their way north along Little Star Lake. Upon coming across a house with a vehicle, they knocked and came across E.J. Mitchell, who was taking care of his very ill wife. Dillinger introduced himself and said to not be afraid as they weren't going to hurt them. They just wanted their vehicle. While they escaped the trap at Little Bohemia, they left behind their mark, hundreds of bullet holes that can still be seen in the lodge today. And it's even believed that the innocent CCC worker that died that day now haunts the lodge. To learn more about John Dillinger, watch the movie Public Enemies featuring Johnny Depp and Christian Bale. It's a really good movie, and of course, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all on the next adventure.